Hey everyone, welcome back to Financial Freedom Friday, where we discuss tips and strategies to help you achieve financial freedom. My name is Nate Scott. It's great to be back with you. Today we're going to talk about a pretty fun topic, at least for me, and I've talked about it before, so if you've been around us for any period of time, you may have heard me talk about this before, but we're going to talk about the difference between accumulating money or creating passive income or cash flow, and really why cash flow needs to be your main focus. So cash flow is really the most important thing to people financially. I mean, we know if we had a good month or a bad month, depending on whether our income was greater than our expenses. It really didn't matter how much money we had sitting around in various accounts. We just wanted our income to be greater than our expenses. But most of the world has been infatuated with this idea of accumulating money, or this nest egg concept, where their main goal is to just build a big pile of money. And whether or not that is good at creating passive income or not, that's up in the air. So most of the time, what most people have is they're focused on 401ks, IRAs, the conventional things. And so they're focused on mainly stock market assets. That's mainly what people are using their 401ks and IRAs to invest in, mutual funds and stocks and things like that. And so they go out and we're piling money with the hopes of having a big pile of money at some point that we can take income from, which we'll get to. In order to really have income coming from a stock market asset or like an IRA, 401k, it's not actually producing income most of the time. What we mean by producing income is you got to start selling your assets to produce income. That's normally what we mean by that. So we get to the point where it's time to retire, and instead of just getting a consistent, predictable check from our assets, really what we have to start doing is selling our assets. It's always better to have your assets produce income and try to stay away from having to sell assets to survive. Selling assets to survive can be a scary place. I mean, just ask the people in the crisis in 2008, 2009 who were just retiring or had been retired, and they have all their money in these 401ks and IRAs, and it's really invested in the market, and suddenly the risk, I guess, that I'm trying to focus on is that when you sell assets to produce income, the risk is we don't know what they're going to sell for. So back in 2008 and 2009, as I was talking about, they were starting to sell their assets. They thought they could sell them for twice what they were actually able to sell them for, because they lost half their value in the market crash. So the risk is, if we have to sell assets to produce income, we have no idea what we're going to be able to sell them for. And so our income can vary wildly because we have no idea what amount of money they're going to be worth at that time, what we can actually sell them for. So instead of trying to build this accumulation mindset, I like to focus on trying to find income, predictable cash flow that comes each and every month that you don't have to sell assets to get. And some of the best examples of that are passive income real estate. Where you buy rental properties, and there's predictability to that. You don't have to sell an asset to produce income. Same thing for even whole life insurance. It's predictably going to grow each and every year, and you can take income from it without having to sell anything and worrying about what the price is going to be when you sell it. Or even investing in small businesses that you maybe understand pretty well. Those are great sources of passive income, and those will allow you to get to that financial freedom point quicker, because when you're accumulating, you never quite know when you've accumulated enough. However, whenever you've produced income, it's very easy to determine when you have enough income to survive, if it's coming in passively. So that's what we encourage you to do, is focus on other areas. Instead of just conventionally just building a big pile of money, focus on income. It will help you achieve it so much quicker. And remember, if you don't build your financial freedom, nobody's going to do it for you. So let's get to work. We'll see you next Friday.